Hi folks, how are you doing today? Barry Wahrhaftig here. I wrote a nice little etude at Bob Baker's suggestion. It's on Waltz for Debby. It's the first half, okay? And I'll play it at regular speed first. And this is Zach Devine here, who is assisting us today, all right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's a little etude that I wrote for jazz guitar today on Waltz for Debby. Bob Baker and I had a couple phone conversations, and he mentioned, that this is a tricky tune, and we concurred. We agreed. It is a tricky tune. It harmonically goes all over the place. So I thought it would be a nice challenge and a cool thing to write an etude on it. So this is on the first half of the tune. Basically, you can break it down into 8-bar phrases, 4-bar phrases, which we're going to do in a minute. But first, and also I'm assisted by Zach Devine here, and also Mr. Joseph Arnold, who you can't see, who's behind the scenes here doing the video work. He's a fine violinist, by the way. And Zach is a very fine vocalist and guitarist. Anyway, so we're going to play this now at a slower tempo, so you can kind of see the positions that we used in writing it. All right, 2, 3, 4. Okay, good job. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the ideas that I used here. So this thing was harder to write than I thought that it would be. You do want to listen to the Bill Evans recordings. Obviously, it is a waltz, and he plays it in 3. In the early recordings, when he goes after he plays the melodic statement and he goes into 4/4, he plays the melody again. So it's almost like a classical theme and variations. Very interesting piece. So here's some of the ideas that I used. I tried to stay in one position as much as I could, and I'm trying to pull together these sort of disparate chord changes, because if you look at the changes, you're starting out in F, 1, 6, 2, 5 kind of thing, then you got these secondary dominants, etc., etc. But it harmonically goes all over the place. So I'm going to talk about some of the ideas that I used. In the beginning, first 4 bars, just kind of a simple melodic idea that I came up with. When it goes to A7th, like in bar 3, A7, D7, G7, C7, I tried to use common tones, because this A natural fits A7, D7, and G9. And then I played a little sort of minor blues lick. And that's just kind of country blues lick or something, maybe a George Benson kind of idea, if you will. So I played that idea. So that boo-da-da, that little thing is a thing that Charlie Parker plays all the time, or played all the time. It just sounds cool. My theory is, if you hear something cool, play it. Don't get too theoretical. And then now a little theory after I said that. So after that, which is in bar 5, in bar 6 you got essentially a B flat minor 6th or G minor 7 flat 5 to C7. Doesn't matter which you think of it. Both work. So what I used there was a little riff that comes from a tune called Cry Me a River. So the riff that I used is, so actually I am going to ask you to play the chords. Before I said I don't know if I need to, but I do need you to play the chords. So we're going to play just slowly G minor 7 flat 5 to C7th. This is bar 6 of the piece, okay? 2, 3, 4. Okay, so what the heck is going on there? So what I did was I took a little bebop riff. The whole riff would sound like that kind of thing. The song Cry Me a River is where that riff was probably first used, or one of the first times that people can really cite it being used. So you can look up the tune, by the way. Barney Kessel plays it, plays the guitar. Julie London tune. But this riff, I just shortened it up, and I set up going to the C natural and the A minor 7th chord. Then when I get to here, we can play this segment too, this, if you will, the A minor D7, this little turnaround. So now we're at bar 7. We're just going to play the turnaround A minor D7, G minor C7, typical 2-5, 2-5 kind of thing. And I did a little bebop riff. We'll play it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that riff, I'm just playing little bebop ideas. These ideas using closure. So this idea is starting on the 3rd of the A minor 7th chord, and you know, every player, gypsy jazz, old school, new school, whatever, uses that idea. So we're landing on the 7th, we're landing on the 3rd of the D7th. So we're going from the 3rd of the A minor 7th, chromatically down to the F sharp, which is the 3rd of the D7th. And this is in closure, or it's the upper neighbor. G minor C7th, I'm just using another enclosure bit. For this next bit, which we can play through the next 4 bars, if you will.
From A2?
Yeah, from A2. So this is from A2. I played a little quote, which is, I'll take Manhattan. So I threw that in there, just because it sounds good. And it's okay to do that. Everyone does it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there's a lot going on there. So I have that little quote, then I have like a Wes Montgomery. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to go from this G minor 7 to the C7th, sound cool, and I anticipated the A13th. The reason why I did that was just, again, it sounds good, it kind of kicks the thing in the butt, moves it along, so it swings, because you do want to swing, and I think it's a way to swing without playing too many notes. So we have, I'll take Manhattan. I'm playing that A13th. Then I'm playing an A in the next bar. I'm playing an A7. I'm flatting the 13th. It's just a little harmonic device, time honored. I certainly didn't come up with it. Bill Evans plays this a couple of times in the recording, so I heard him do that, and I thought I'll recycle that. It's very very recyclable, very with it. So I'm playing this harmonic line from, so it's an A13th, and it's an A7 flat 13th, and it's a D9th, and it's a D9, you know, D7 flat 9. So it's simply just, could also work that little line into a solo idea, that kind of thing. Okay, so hope you're all still with me. It gets a little tricky because it jumps around a lot. If we just play the chords, we're going to see the tonal center. So let's just play from A2, and we'll stop when it goes to bar 16. So we're just going to show you kind of the crazy changes in the piece. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's what makes the piece so cool, is that it goes to these different tonal centers, which is all great, but how can we connect these dots? That's really the challenge, is to make it sound musical. So for this next bit, I used some little enclosure ideas. So if we go from after this bit, so in bar 12, I just played some thirds, double stops. I added the chord right here. If you played at a fast tempo, maybe you don't play the chord. And those are just little enclosure ideas that bebop players use all the time. And so if you analyze it slowly, when it goes to the A7, you can hammer it off and on. It makes it swing a little better. So I'm targeting, for enclosure, I'm targeting the B natural of the B7th chord in bar 14. Again, connecting the dots is what we're trying to do. So we have, and I used another blues enclosure thing here in bar 14 to connect the rest of this. When I ended up in this new key in bar 15, I played this little bluesy idea again. Now we're in the new key at bar 15, and to get there, once we got to this new key, I played a little sort of blues enclosure idea. Kind of a Benson-y kind of thing. You might hear Benson go. Those kind of bluesy things, Wes Montgomery. Using a minor third. That kind of thing. So once we're in the new key, we're not there for long, so you have to keep your wits about you. So once we get to the new key, for that riff, I tried to connect the A natural in bar 16, so because we're going to go to G minor right after that. So we need to make a nice connection. So to do that, and there's a lot going on there. I'm also going to provide a text analysis of all this craziness so that this explanation doesn't get to be like the Gettysburg Address. So I'm just really connecting these changes. The G minor. I'm using enclosure again. You can call this change running, typical bebop kind of thing. It's like a T for 2 riff, if you will. So what I'm doing is I'm connecting the 7th of the G minor to the 3rd of the C7. And I'm doing the same sort of thing for the A minor D7. Up to the flatted 9th of the D7th, okay? And I'm landing on the 3rd of the G minor 7th, which is a good note that really defines the chord. And that's just taking a little time to run out the clock on that A7 to fill it up. I went to the D minor, but around bar 19, bar 20, I'm playing the G minor, the 3rd of the G minor, and there I'm just using basically some more enclosure. And what happens next after this G7, it goes to A flat major 7th and D flat major 7th. Bill Evans actually just plays the chords there in some of the recordings. Gives your ear a rest, because it's going to do another G minor 7th to C7th. So you don't always have to play a lot of notes. You can also just play the chords that are written. I know it sounds very simple. Everyone wants some mystical, magical answer on how to do this. I guess there are some, but basically play things that you hear that sound good. And right there, to end that part of the song, it made sense to just play the chords and then some double stops. Okay? I think that'll do it for this first half of the song, and thanks for tuning in, and I'm sure Bob will post all of our my links and all that sort of thing. Okay? Thanks for watching.